Welcome again to the Classical Liberal Arts Academy's Petty School Arithmetic program. In this lesson, we'll continue our study of Petty School Arithmetic as we prepare for studies in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy. In our last lesson, we learned some good news. We learned that you now know all of the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the number 0. We also studied the answer to the question, how do we write 10? If we count all of our fingers, we find that we have 10 fingers. But how do we write the number 10? To answer this question, we first learned about units, and we said that we count units up to the number 9. And we learned that when we have more than 9 units, we count the number of tens, or the number of sets of 10, and write that number, and then we count the units that are left over. So to write the number 10, we write a 1 for the number of tens, and a 0 for the number of units that are left over. This is the number 10. Now, let's learn the next number. How many pennies do you see on your screen? Point to the pennies and count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 11 pennies on your screen. 11. To write the number 11, we first need to know how many sets of 10 there are, and then how many units are left over. We see in this picture that there is one set of 10, and so we write the number 1 for the number of tens. Outside the red box, we see there is 1 penny left over. So we write a number 1 for the units. There is 1 set of 10 and 1 unit left over. This is how we write the number 11. Now that you know what the number 11 looks like, you should be ready to see it written in all different sorts of ways. But what you'll always see is that there is a 1 to mark the number of tens and a 1 to mark the number of units left over. All of these are the number 11. Let's go ahead and learn the next number. How many pennies do you see on your screen? Point to the pennies and count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. There are 12 pennies on your screen. 12. If you know how to write the number 10 and how to write the number 11, writing the number 12 will be very simple. When we count 12, we see that there is one set of 10 that's marked in the red box, and so we write a 1 for the number of tens. We see that there are 2 pennies left over, so we write a 2 for the number of units. So to write the number 12, we write 1 10 and 2 units, and that's the number 12. Now anytime we see the number 12, no matter how it's written, we will always see a 1 that marks the number of tens and a 2 that marks the number of units. This is the number 12. And all of these numbers on your screen, even though they look very different, are all number 12. Let's learn now what number comes after 12. How many pennies do you see on your screen? Let's point to each penny and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13. There are 13 pennies on your screen. 13. Writing the number 13 will be no problem if we know how to write 10, 11, and 12. All that we need to know are how many sets of 10 there are and how many units are left over. When we count the number 13, we count one set of 10. That's marked by the red box. So we write the number 1 for the tens. And outside of the red box, we see 1, 2, 3 pennies left over. So we write a 3 for the units. So we write a number 1 for the tens and a 3 for the units, and we have the number 13. Now that we know that the number 13 is made up of one set of 10 and 3 units, it will be easy for us to read and write the number 13. We'll see a 1 showing how many tens there are and a 3 showing how many units are left over. Looking at these numbers on our screen, we see that they're all 13. We can see the 1 for the tens and the 3 for the units. So these are all 13. We'll stop at the number 13 for this lesson. How about some Latin? Let's review the Roman numerals that we've learned so far. We've learned the Latin number unus, duo, tres, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novem, and decem. You should be comfortable reading each of these Roman numerals. If you're not, stop here and go back and review your old lessons first. If you are comfortable, let's go ahead and continue. In English, we learned that there are 9 different symbols used for numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We also learned about the number 0. In Latin, there are 3 basic symbols that we've learned so far. The number unus, which is written with a straight line, quinque, or 5, which is written with a V, and decem, or 10, which is written with an X. All of the numbers we've learned so far in Latin are written with these 3 symbols. Let's go ahead and learn a new Latin number. Quot sunt? Unus, duo, tres, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novem, decem, undecim, undecim. In Latin, the name for the number 11 is undecim, undecim. We see the symbol X or decem, which marks the number of 10. There is 1 penny left over, and you see that marked with the unus next to the decem. This is the symbol for the Latin number undecim, which in English we call 11. Let's learn the next Latin number. Quot sunt? Quot sunt? Unus, duo, tres, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novem, decem, undecim, duodecim, duodecim. In Latin, the name for the English number 12 is duodecim, and you can hear duodecim, 2 and 10. That's the number 12. We see that in the number duodecim, there is 1 set of 10, and that's marked by the symbol for decem, which is the X. We also can see that there are 2 pennies left over, or 2 units, and you can see unus and duo next to the decem that mark those units. This is how we write the Latin number duodecim. In this lesson, we'll learn one more Latin number, the number for the English 13. Quot sunt? Quot sunt? Unus, duo, tres, quatuor, quinque, sex, septem, octo, novem, decem, undecim, duodecim, tredecim, tredecim. In Latin, the name for the English number 13 is tredecim, tredecim. You can hear again, tre, which is from tres, and decim, which is from decem. It means 3 and 10. We can see that in the number tre decim there is one set of 10, and that's marked with the symbol for decem, the X. We can also see there are 3 pennies left over, and they're marked with 3 straight lines. Unos, duo, tres. This is the symbol for the Latin number tredecim, or 13. Once again, we've learned a lot in this lesson, and you probably feel like that guy on your screen. So let's stop here. Now it's time to study. You can go back through this whole lesson as many times as you need to learn every part perfectly. You might also want to go back to old lessons and study them again to make sure you don't forget anything. Remember, we want perfect knowledge. In our next lesson, we'll learn some more numbers in English and in Latin. We hope you've enjoyed this lesson in the Classical Liberal Arts Academy's Petty School Arithmetic program. In our next lesson, we'll continue counting. God bless.